3 days ago, the ground was cracking open like a dried-up riverbed. Today, half the West Midlands is underwater. While news reports show whole streets flooded and people paddling canoe past their front doors, a pretty grim reminder of how unpredictable British weather has become. I was standing out here with a very specific problem. I built a 20-barrel rainwater grid, expecting to wait until autumn for it to fill. It took 8 hours, complete capacity 4,000 litres of captured rain. Which leads to the big question, can a cheap budget setup actually handle water pressure, or will it blow the marine silicon and drown my own patio? In a corporate office, when a system reaches 100% capacity, someone gets an automated email alert and books a sync-up meeting for Tuesday. In my semi-detached garden, 4,000 litres of pressurized water doesn't wait for a committee. Connecting 20 barrels at the base is brilliant for gravity distribution until the first tank fills, overflows, and then the back pressure starts testing your marine silicon at 6 in the morning. Phase 1 was catching the water. Phase 2 is controlling the flow, and that's where the real test began. "20 barrels sounds like an absolute fortress of water security until a proper storm drops. Months of rain in 8 hours. When the downpour hit, barrel number 1 filled instantly, but we hit an immediate hydraulic bottleneck. Are these sufficient is the question. Not really, but they were cost effective. If I had to go for the big PVC pipes, it would be too expensive, too bulky, too much setting up involved. When the downpour peaked, roof runoff flooded into barrel 1 faster than gravity could push it through the bottom line. The surplus was heading straight down the storm drain. I needed a temporary top link fast. It fills up the first barrel. The single 19mm pipe at the bottom simply isn't big enough to pass that volume of water across 2 barrels. 2, 3, 4 down the grid fast enough. The water was rushing off the roof faster than gravity could equalize it through the bottom manifold linkages. Barrel 1 was about to overflow and drown the patio, while barrel 5 was sitting half empty. So mid-storm, raincoat on, I had to modify the setup. This is the ideal time to test it in a downpour. I installed a secondary top-overflow link across the first 4 barrels, running straight off. instant results. So I've put a manual diverter in here. When this barrel gets full, it firstly goes out the bottom, and to avoid wasting any water, it also comes out of there into the second barrel, into the third barrel. So we've got a fail safe. We don't want to waste any rainwater, so we've got the bottom flow, which is not sufficient, we know that now. I've also got the overflow. The first 4 will fill up, and then we'll have the rest slowly, gradually fill up. If need be, I can do diverters across all of them. You can see the difference in water. But eventually, over time, they will balance itself out. When the rain hit peak volume, the water rose in barrel 1, spilled through the top link into barrels 2 and 3 and held back the torrent. Success. What does that tell us? The top link gave the main 19mm bottom pipe the precise buffer time it needed to equalize the pressure and pass the water across the entire grid safely. Here's the ultimate lesson from the setup and the conclusion of the whole test. So you'll see we're just 6 inches down from the top, and that is across every barrel. If I did this entire system again from scratch, I'd still stick with the 19mm pipe at the base. Why? Because it's cheap, it's cost effective, and it fits 19mm garden hardware. You don't need expensive commercial plumbing. Historically, UK rain happens in waves. It pours, it drizzles, it stops, it repeats. That natural rhythm gives a 19mm bottom grid and the top overflows plenty of time to equalize between downpours. You don't need to over-engineer for the once-in-a-decade storm. You just need a small overflow buffer to buy you budget and time for the bottom system to work. Down the road, the drains blew their covers. The roads turned into rivers, but right here, we're holding 4 tons of free water. Now we start work on the drip irrigation feed from these barrels to my garden wedge beds about 30 meters away. While the rest of the street waits for the hosepipe band text, this semi-detached grid is fully loaded and going supersonic.